Bibles, forcing Christians to renounce their faith. This persecution, just the latest attempt by Beijing to crack down on all religion. In August, the United Nations said China could be holding more than 1 million Uyghurs and other Muslims in internment camps for, quote, political education. Beijing says the camps are vocational training centers, bolstering economic growth, and of course, they say it's for social mobility. Here now to discuss, Olivia Vhino, Asian Studies Policy Analyst for the Heritage Foundation, Jillian Melcher, Wall Street Journal editorial page writer. Jillian, you know, every time we have our meeting and something like this comes up, everyone says, Jillian Melcher. You've spent time there, you've studied it, you understand this as well as anyone else. What the heck is going on? And by the way, and the whole world knows it's going on too.
Yeah, so I think what we're seeing right now is a reversion to Maoist policies on religion. So in theory, Article 36 of the Chinese Constitution guarantees against religious discrimination. In the 1980s, we saw under Xi Jinping an opening up, more of an ability for people to practice their religion. But right now under Xi Jinping, what we're seeing is a crackdown. We're seeing a reversion.
Under President Xi?
Yes.
So why? Why now? Why is this because power corrupts absolutely? Is this, you know, he's sort of emperor for life right now? Does this get back to his basic instincts? Well,
I think, you know, the Chinese communist regime has always viewed religion as a threat. Its assumption was that it could manage it out of existence, that it was, instead we've just seen religion explode in China. It's something that's basically appealing to people in a way that the Cultural Revolution destroyed civil society. This is something that's rebuilding it and restoring it. But I think the government sees it as a threat. It's really unfortunate, though, because many Chinese Christians I know don't see any contrast between being a good, patriotic Chinese citizen and being a strong Christian. But I think if they're forced to choose, history has shown that Jesus wins every time.
Olivia, your thoughts?
This is a really hard time for people of faith in China. Xi is clearly taking steps to consolidate power, and as a part of this broader effort to consolidate power, he's targeting religion. We see this in February 2018. He instituted additional regulations on religious affairs, and as you mentioned, we're seeing unbelievable persecution of Christians, crosses being torn down, Bibles being burned. These are, as Jillian said, Mao-like era policies. In fact, Human Rights Watch just came out with a report today talking about persecution of Uyghurs in Xinjiang, and they said that the types of policies that we are seeing with over 1 million people in these political, prison camps or re-education camps, this is really reminiscent of human rights abuses we were seeing during the Cultural Revolution.
You know, Jillian, I'm really surprised in the midst of this trade battle that this part of the story isn't articulated more. Some people talked more recently about the labor laws over there and the history of abuse. And I just wonder what it would take to magnify this more in the West, particularly at a time when maybe, since we're already going through friction anyway with them, maybe we could do something to help those people.
Yeah, I mean, this is one of the rare opportunities, I'd say, great opportunity for a Trump tweet. I think knowing that the U.S. has the support of Christians and that the U.S. cares about human rights, that emboldens people and it lets them be more courageous. With the Uyghur situation, I think what's really telling is when persecution has happened in the past, we haven't heard about it because people are afraid of what's going to happen to their families. Here, their entire families are being shipped off to these camps. So the fact that they're speaking out is pretty telling. They don't have anything to lose.
Olivia, on that note then, can we expect it to get worse unless the world steps up and says something?
I think that now is the time for action. Earlier this year, the administration hosted the International Religious Freedom Ministerial, the first of its kind, that brought together leaders from all over the world. As part of that ministerial, there was a condemnation of the serious rights violations occurring against people of faith in China. And one of the suggestions that was a follow-on to that was the potential for individuals to be sanctioned under Global Magnitsky on human rights and corruption grounds. We may be at the point where we need to be identifying individual members of the Chinese Communist Party who are undermining the freedom of all peoples of faith to freely practice what they believe to be true.
Well, I hope this message gets to President Trump and he takes action because it's unfortunate and it shouldn't happen on our watch for sure. Ladies, thank you both very much. Very knowledgeable.